Hey y'all, Blake here from the Southern Cowboy. And today, I thought I'd answer one question that I've been getting a lot lately. And this is something that most people would often, ask themselves. Blake, is buying vintage Western wear good? Well, the answer is simple, but difficult at the same time. Why do I say that? Well, here's why, and this is why I'm making this video. So, when a lot of y'all think of vintage Western wear, you think of vintage goods that are no longer made anymore, such as these beautiful ostrich skin Tony Lamas. These are made in, made in El Paso, Texas. So made in the USA. And this is a full-on ostrich boot here, and this is cowhide. You could tell these are old because if you can't see this on camera, that's the scarring. That's how old these are. But there's also brass nails and all, and the rubber cap. Now, a lot of y'all will think, but Blake, if a boot has scarring, should I avoid it? Well, a lot of people like to say, avoid the scarring. Me, on the other hand, here's what I'd say. This is my opinion, at least. A lot of people won't agree with me here, but I think there are some that will agree with me here as well. Well, sometimes you gotta say to yourself, well, if a boot has scarring, depending on the leather, if it's lizard, you're done. I'm sorry, you're done, because lizard is fragile. Same with caiman, right? But if it's ostrich and it has this type of scarring, you're actually good. And sometimes, I'd say, buying a scarred up boot, or scuffed up boot, is a bit better than buying a brand new one. Here's why, hear me out. Hear me out before you start attacking in the comments being like, well, Blake, it's already broken. What can I do? Well, hear me out. There are some boot companies or so, I don't know what they call them, where they do work on these. They'll turn, like, for example, this is a round toe. They'll turn this round toe into a square toe, or whatever toe, right? You could change it, meaning it would fold that leather downward. That's one thing you could do, but I don't know what they call those companies. But you can either do that, or you could, okay, hear me out. You could just wear them how they are. Yeah, I get it, they're scarred up and all, especially here. This is how old they are. This has a bit of a hole, it's hard to lift, but yeah, I get it, they're scarred up, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, they're still wearable, they're still usable and all that. Yeah, it may not be nice for nice occasions, but it could be used for every occasion. Also, plus, I'm gonna be honest here, I'm gonna flat out say it. But I had scarred up boots as well. I did. They were Ariats. Yeah, I know, I don't wear Ariats anymore for a good reason. But they were a good conversation starter, and someone said, damn, you sure put your boots for crap. I'm like, you damn right. And it's a good conversation starter. It is. Because it just says it all. The boot itself says it all. Even if it has scars, it says it all. I'm telling you right now. And it's a good conversation starter. So at the end, to answer your question, is it good to buy vintage boots? Yeah. To be honest, yes. But you have to get lucky with finding your size though. Find the leather and look for your size. Whether you're a 12D or something, just look for your size. That's the only thing that's a bit difficult. But other than that, is it good to buy a vintage pair of boots? Yeah. Now, another thing I've been getting asked. Now, this is the one I've been, a hit and miss. Okay, this one's a hit and miss. Hear me out. Vintage hats. Now, I have 2 vintage hats. a good old John B. Stetson open road, and a Resistol 4X Beaver. 4X Beaver, but Blake, that's wool. Well, no it's not, okay? So when it comes to hats, that's a different ball game, okay? And I'll say this, the reason why it's a different ball game is because you want to know the exact year it was made, the decade, the century, you know, all that basic crap. But you want to know if this is your size, if this will, you know, look good with you, whether it's vintage or new. And you want to know that, you want to figure out like, okay, does this shape look good on me? For example, me, I had to figure it out myself, right, with my hats. A year and a half ago, I used to wear an American Hat Company 200X steel. It may look good on me from the camera, but in person it was a bit like, wasn't really good. Then I used to wear Burns, same thing. But now that I wear this, which is a bit squared, but there's a slight dip, I look better now. I look like my actual age. See, that's the thing some people tend to forget. Not a lot, but some. Like, mostly people who are just getting into hats. Now, when it comes to hats though, when something, like, for example, this Resistol Silver Belly. This is definitely an old one, and I can promise you this is old as hell, okay? Because when I first got this, alright, when I first got this, it was beating the crap out of. I'm talking about the brim was flat like this, there was marks and all that, you know, dirt, lint, and all, you name it. And the leather, this, by the way, you cannot find these on Resistols anymore, nor Stetsons. But you know this one's been used a crap ton, and it's definitely old. And, well, it's unique and a one of a kind because if you look on the hat band, that's alligator. It's hard to see on the camera a bit, but that's alligator. And it has a buckle set that's sewn on. That's how I knew it was old. Now, there is one stain, a few stains, that's on the back here. That's it. Like, that's just sweat stains. Now, what I had to do is I had to pounce it. And if you don't know what pouncing is, it's sanding. I had to sand the crap out of it. I had to sand the brim, the bottom of the brim, the crown, especially here. Yeah, I literally had to get in there. And I had to avoid the hat band and all. So I pounced it, sanded it, exact. And then what I had to do, and I'm not even kidding, the reason why it's so pliable like this, right? Like this, and it wasn't like that before when I got it. I had to put this, and I'm not making this up, I had to put this in water. But Blake, you're not supposed to put it in water. You're damn right, right? But hear me out. Because this was an old one, a very, very old one, right? Back in the day, right? In the 1900s, 4X Beaver meant something else. 4X now is wool, pure wool. Now in the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. But back in the 1900s, 4X was actually beaver and rabbit blend. And if you want proof, I'll show you proof. Here, take a look at that, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. 4X Beaver, meaning this is a beaver and rabbit blend, okay? That's another reason why I suggest going with pure rabbit or pure beaver, because a blend, in my experience, is harder to take care of. Yeah, it may have, you know, some benefits, but at the end of the day, it's not worth a blend. No, no, please just stay away from them. Like, if you have a Resistol now, great. And I'll give you this though. Their 20Xs, I heard, are amazing, all right? And their 100X, their 100X are like questionable because they won't tell you the fur that it's made of. But the pure Resistol, like 1000X and 20X, I heard it's a lot of good things. Now this is definitely the color Silver Belly, and the size is a 7. Yeah, it's just a size 7. It literally says it right here. And the sweatband, I want to say it's not lambskin, but it's sheep. I don't know. I can't tell the leather sweatband inside the material. But another reason why I could tell this is old is because this satin liner, it's a bit yellowish. That's how I knew this is very old and it's been abused a crap ton. So yeah, I wet it, I let it dry outside in the South Florida sun. And I will give you some advice. If you own a light color, like the Open Road in Silver Belly or the Resistor in Silver Belly, mind you, one problem with light colors I found out is they take a bit longer to dry because it's light. When it's dark, like my Bowman Hat Company Pure Beaver Whiskey, or my old hats that were black, gray, and brown, you know, my earth tones and dark tones, they were easy to dry. They were extremely fast drying. Now as for these, they're just extremely slow because it's a light color. The dark colors absorb a lot of sun. Now this doesn't absorb a lot of sun like the others, right? Because it's a natural like earth tone basically. It's like an earth tone color, but it still dries a lot faster. And it dries a lot faster than black, which I come to find, which is very interesting. Now, I will say this, Silver Belly, even though it's a slow dryer, it's a pretty unique color. And it's a nice color to wear for a wedding, dressier occasion. Definitely not for work occasions. No, definitely not at work occasions. Hell no, okay? Because if you wear this to work, okay, whether you're ranch working, hunting, fishing, trapping, you know, say goodbye to that color, because it'll get dirty pretty quick. I mean a crap ton of dirt will go on it and it'll be hard to get out. I will say that. But it's nice for dress occasions. I will give you that much. Now, another thing, this hat, I had to wet it, I let it dry, but I had to flip it every 30 minutes. Then once I did that, I pounced it again, you know, sand it, and I got that finish back finally. And then what I did is I decided to shape the brim, and let me tell you, the brim, before it was like this. It was like this, but rough. I'm talking about a redneck wearing a hat with a flat brim, like that type of rough, yeah. And I had to shape it. Now I will say this, I'm not the best shaper, but it does look a whole lot better than it did before. Okay, I will say that, if I do say so myself. It may look a bit crooked, but at least it looks better than before. And all because I put in the water, it is more pliable, crushable, and it's like, think of it as a crushable felt hat. That's what I basically turned this into. It went from a solid hat like this to now a crushable one. So this one can basically be a work hat, but you could do whatever you want with your hats. I just highly suggest and recommend you wear them for like dressier occasions and all that. Do not abuse them a lot though, absolutely not. And the alligator band, I conditioned it. Now the only parts I was not able to get out are the sweat marks. Those are sweat marks actually. It's hard to see on the camera, but those are sweat marks. So yeah. Now, when it comes to this one, now this one's a newer one, okay? This is, you might know this one, the Stetson Open Road. Yeah, Stetson Open Road, everybody. This one is a 2020s model. I think it was made in 20 or 21, 22, somewhere in between those years. Because the only reason I knew is because See, my mom owns a vintage store as well. She owns 3 businesses. The Pretty Nomad, Salon Bar, and the Vintage Nomad. And we also have a hat bar, a part of the Pretty Nomad, called the Well Print. Now at the Vintage Nomad, she had vintage hats. And she called me one day and said, I just got an open road. I'm like, let me see. She was talking about this. Now this again is a silver belly as well, okay? But you might have noticed something. If I get the resistor here, this is silver belly. But so is this. There's a difference. And that's actually one, this is older, okay? This is literally older than that. This was made in the 2020s-ish. This was made definitely in the 1900s, for sure. Because if it was made in the 1900s, it would show the X rating, but it would show beaver underneath. It would show beaver. If I go in this one, on the other hand, this one only shows Stetson 6X 100% pure fur felt. That's how I knew this was a modern one. And the size of this is a 62, aka a 7 3/4. It's a lot larger, okay? And you know what? I'll just show you guys. You know, as a matter of fact, oh, I'm gonna look stupid in this. Yeah, be prepared to make a lot of comments on this one. This is gonna be a field day for everybody. This is so big. I'm a 7 3/8, but look, this is what I'm talking about. Okay? Oh no. Yeah. It does not. I mean, it looks alright, but like, no. Not in this color. Not for me, at least. I like to stick with my Western hats. Not a, no. But I do like the open road design. Fun fact though. The open road here, okay, is actually the only hat that is a Western and a dress hat blend. And it's the only hat where you could wear it with anything, right? Whether you're in the city or the country, right? And here's an interesting fact. This hat is the exact hat that was worn by President Lyndon B. Johnson, which is also gave it the name that some people call the Lyndon B. Johnson hat or style, you know? So Lyndon B. Johnson loved this hat so much he would wear it all the time. Yeah, the President of the United States would wear this hat all the time. And there is actually a photograph of him, and you could look it up right now. Lyndon B. Johnson's Stetson hat or open road. Now, a lot of people may not know this, but also back in the day, if you were a cattle rancher and you went to, you know, a cattle auction, they also called this the cattle auction hat or the town hat, because if you were at a cattle auction, you would see some people wearing this. And an interesting part that I didn't even know, okay? This hat has one other unique feature, and it sets it apart from a fedora as well. A fedora has this feature, right? But a Western hat like this doesn't. And that is this. Hold on. Yeah, that's right. It can go from, you know, a regular Western hat to a fedora. It looks like a Vaquero hat brim, right? And this is what you would see on a Vaquero hat. Literally. Like, it's insane. I mean, I personally like it like this, but other people, when it's nighttime, boom, put on that fedora brim, you're good to go. What's that? You're on a safari? Boom. Put it down. Now it's safari mode. What's that? You're back in the country. Flip it up. And now you're all set to rock the town. Yeah. Now this hat has a grosgrain hat band with the JBS, aka the John B. Stetson hat pin. It has a cattleman crown, a flat brim with a bound edge. The liner is just, you know, it's a regular liner, the white satin liner. And of course it has a leather sweatband and a bow on the back. And this is 100% pure fur felt. I think this is rabbit because Stetson changed the fur, like I said. Again, I'm not a big Stetson guy, but to be honest, I'm glad that they invented the open road for some people, right? Because if someone didn't like the Western hat, there's a better alternative for them. So if you like the open road and you live in a city like New York, New England, possibly New England, or LA, or even cities like Dallas, Texas, right? This would be the hat for you. Okay? This would definitely be the hat for you, whether you're in New York City or LA. That's for sure. But yeah. So when it comes to vintage hats, on the other hand, remember this. The only way you could tell it's an older one is just by looking at the inside and looking for saying the X rating, whether it's 4 to 10X, and make sure it says Beaver. Make sure it says Beaver. If it doesn't say Beaver, that ain't no vintage hat. That's made in the 2000s. So, yeah. And the only way you could tell it's a newer hat is you check the X rating, and if it says pure fur felt, that's how you know it's a modern one. Would I recommend getting a vintage hat? Well, yes and no. Because there's a lot of hit and miss, and it'll be a bit more difficult to find your color, style, and the fur you want in your exact head size. That's why I mostly wear custom hats and would recommend custom hats. But if you want just one vintage hat, at least one in your collection, then go for it. Go for it, for sure. And if you're a starter in hats, you can get a vintage hat, that's fine. Just remember that, okay? Just remember, make sure you check the X rating. Like I said, if it shows X rating and then just 100% pure fur felt, that's a modern one. If it shows the X rating again, but it says, like for example, 4X Beaver, then that's an older one. And the older ones are the ones you should get for sure. Now, I will say this. You are able to purchase these from me because all of these are for sale. I'm not even kidding. All of these are for sale. I'm selling all of these. I'm selling the Ostrich Tony Lamas. I'm selling the Stetson Open Road, 6X Open Road. And I'm selling the Resisto 4X Beaver. Yeah, I'm selling all of these. But Blake, why are you selling them? Well, one, these don't fit me at all. Like I said, I have a difficult head size and foot sizing problem. Two, this one is going to be, I'm going to tell you the prices and I'll give you 3 reasons why some of them are priced the way they are. My ostrich boots from Tony Lama, made in the USA, are on auction on eBay, okay? And I am selling them for at least, okay, this is just me, $125. The reason why I'm selling them for $125 is because one, it's made in the USA, and normally ostrich boots like these would be $300, but I decided to lower it. So you're good with that, but I'm fine with negotiations. That's perfectly fine. Now, as for the open road here, open road and the Resisto. Now, this one I had to price high because it took me a whole day, pretty much a day and a half, just to get it like this. The pouncing, the sand, aka the sanding, the shaping, and all that. It took me an entire day just to get it to this form. I even had to clean it. Like, this one was the most frustrating one to restore. And yes, I do restore hats. I do, for some people, like my mom and all that. Yeah. Am I the best on it? I'll be honest. At least I'm honest with myself. I may not be the best, but I'm okay at it. Hey! But besides that, this one took a day and a half just to get it to this shape and just to get it as clean as possible. So this one's gonna be 400. I know some of y'all will be mad about it, but at the end of the day, you gotta understand. I spent a whole day and a half just to get it like this. Just to get it like this. And I will put up a photo, okay? I will put up a photo if I have a photo. So, this one's 400 bucks, but the lowest I can go is 350. That's it. That's the lowest I can go, okay? But this one is for sale on eBay as well for 400. You can complain all you want, but if you were a person who restored hats, you would understand how long it would take. And you would understand the time and labor just to get it like this. So before you get mad at me on the comments, just remember, I did it myself. And I even did the small things, like I reconditioned the sweatband and the hat band. And yeah. So this one's for $400. But if you want to negotiate, text me on eBay or Facebook or comment on YouTube, all right? There will be a link in the description on where to get these hats. So the boots and the hats. Now this, the Open Road 6X will be at least, okay, 300 bucks, okay? 300. But the lowest I'll go is 250, but I want to sell this for 300, okay? It's a 6X, it's made in the 2020s-ish, right? It has a cattleman crown, a flat brim. It's the size 7 3/4. The resistor's a size 7. This one's made of 100% pure fur felt, but this doesn't, it's hard to tell if there's any beaver in this whatsoever because blend. And I do not like blended hats at all, trust me. However, the owner decided to put a mule kick in the front. So it's gonna make it a unique hat as well a bit. It's a subtle detail that'll get a lot of attention and a nice conversation starter for sure. So if you do like mule kicks, like this is the hat for you, okay? This is the hat for you. If you like a mule kick on your hat, if you want to be, you know, unique, interesting and all, and you want to start up a nice good old conversation, this is the hat. So, and it does this. So yeah, this one will be 300 bucks, but the lowest I can go is 250, okay? Like I said, reach out to me on eBay and we'll negotiate. And you're probably wondering, but Blake, why are you selling them for, you know, that high? Well, the resistor took me a day and a half, okay? And this one has more beaver than this modern Stetson. It does. A 4X beaver back then, I think was like 20 or 30% beaver. I don't know for sure, but it has a lot more beaver than this. Yeah, it's mostly rabbit here, but it has a lot more beaver than this. I can promise you that much. And I know because I took it outside, okay? Before I cleaned it up and all, I decided to take it outside, let the rain do its thing. I wanted to make sure it had more beaver than the Stetson. Water beat it right off. Yeah, I got in a bit because it's a blend. Because those fur fibers, well, you know, the rabbit fur is a bit shorter, but it sucks up that water, right? As the beaver fur, well, you know, even if you tried getting it off, it'd be difficult. It's like a challenge, like tug of war. It was like difficult just to clean it, literally. So yeah, that's why it took me a bit longer. Okay? Harper! And sorry if my dog's barking, but male. That's for sure. Anyway. So that's another reason. Blends are hard to clean, in my experience at least. If you don't have a problem with a blended hat, cleaning it, that's good for you. Maybe it's just for me. Maybe it's just because I just don't like blended hats in general. But what I will say, this one's 400. There's no whats, no buts, no. I had to literally just do a lot of things just to get it as clean as possible. This one's gonna be a bit lower, even though it's a 6X. Remember, this does not have more beaver than this, okay? This is mostly rabbit because this is a modern model of Stetson. Not an older model, not a vintage model, no, it's a newer model. It's made in the 2020s-ish. So, but like I said, if you want a dress hat for me, this one's good. If you want a nice Western hat, even, you know, if you're working, because I got it so, you know, at a crushable but a pliable state where if you know, fall back on your horse or you're a rodeo rider, guess what? It's gonna retain its shape, so you're welcome for making it pliable. It'll be a good work hat though for you though, since it's like pliable. Like. But hey, you can wear it however you want. You're probably wondering, but it's a bit too high. Well, here's the thing. Even though it's a bit too high, like I said, I had to spend a lot of time and energy just to get all these cleaned up for you. That's for sure. I'm not trying to sound like a pain in the butt by saying, oh, you're only doing this for money. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm only doing it because, one, none of these fit me. Two, you know, these are all vintage. And three, since they don't fit me and all, I just thought, you know, why don't I just sell them? And why don't I make a video explaining why you should go for vintage, but what to look for in vintage Western wear. That's all I try to do. So like I said, if you guys are interested in the open road, the Resisto, or the Tony Lama boots, hit me up on eBay, Instagram, or Facebook. We'll negotiate, but all I'm gonna say is the Resistos 400, Stetson open roads starting at 300, Resistos 400, and these are starting at 125. That's it. And I'm also selling them because I'm also trying to get more money to get Christmas presents for my family and my mom a birthday present, because next month is my mom's birthday. Yeah, I'm just trying to be you know, a good son. And yeah, so I'm also selling it, you know, get something for my mom and for everyone for their Christmas presents. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video though, and I hope that answered y'all's questions on if you should go for vintage Western wear and what to look for. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you follow my new Instagram account for the YouTube channel. Follow my main Instagram, my YouTube channel's Instagram. Follow me on Facebook, on my TikTok account. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And by the way, I'm going to do a new interesting thing. Whoever buys these, okay? Whoever buys, you know, any of these will get at least a 10 or 15% higher chance on winning the giveaway. All right? Yeah, I may need to install an app for it, but you'll get a higher chance, and I will enter you earlier, before we get 1,000 subscribers. Meaning, whatever you buy from here, you will be entered early, right? There will be 3 lucky people who will be entered in the giveaway very, very early. Meaning, you could be entered in now, and then once we hit 1,000 subscribers mark, we'll do the giveaway. That's what we'll do. We're gonna do a little fun thing here. So yeah, if you buy one of these free items, you'll be entered in the giveaway extremely early this year. And then once we hit 1,000 subscribers, you'll be entered in, and we'll have the giveaway. So make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And there will be also a video more to come, more content. So yeah. Anyway, keep it Southern, everybody. Keep it Southern.